Welcome to Storied Audio. Kevin hadn't been home in 7 years. 7 years of sand, steel, and the strange quiet that followed every deployment. Coming back felt unreal, like stepping into a life he'd paused but everyone else had kept living. He told himself he didn't need much, just a place to sleep, a job, maybe a decent burger, but the truth was, he wanted to see his sister. April had moved out when he was 12. Already an adult in every way that mattered. Their home had been a mess, shouting, slammed doors, the kind of tension that made a kid learn to walk quietly. She'd escaped first. He'd followed years later by joining the military. They had never been close, but she'd reached out when she heard he was coming home. "Let's meet," she'd said. "I owe you that much." He didn't think she owed him anything, but he agreed. The bar was dim, warm, and smelled like fried food and spilled beer. He spotted her instantly, same dark hair, same sharp eyes, but softer now, like life had finally given her room to breathe. She looked up, saw him, and her whole face lit. She stood so fast her chair scraped. "You're taller than I remember," she teased as she wrapped him in a hug. "You're shorter than I remember," he shot back. She smacked his arm. "I'm literally the same height." They sat, ordered drinks, and really talked for the first time in their lives. She asked about his deployments, and he kept it light. He asked about her job at the bakery, and she told him about the regulars who flirted with her by buying extra muffins. They laughed. It felt easy, surprisingly easy, like maybe they'd both been waiting for this without knowing it. Then her smile faltered. Her eyes fixed on something behind him, and her shoulders tensed. He followed her gaze. A man was storming toward them, jaw clenched, eyes wild. Before Kevin could ask, the man barked. "Who is this?" April's face hardened. "He's my brother. And it doesn't matter to you anymore. We broke up, Rick." Rick grabbed her arm. The world narrowed to a pinpoint.
Kevin didn't think.
Didn't plan. The moment that hand touched her, something primal surged through him. He stood and hit Rick, hard. Rick went down like a sack of wet laundry. When he staggered back up, clutching his jaw, he spat a curse and stumbled out the door. The bartender didn't even bother pretending. "You two need to go." "Fine by Kevin." Outside, April was shaking. He put a hand on her shoulder, gentle this time. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "That was Rick. I left him because of his temper. I didn't think he'd show up here." "If he bothers you again," Kevin said, voice low, "you tell me." She nodded, eyes glassy. They walked to her apartment in silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was the kind of silence that said, "I'm here now. You're not alone." Inside, she sank onto the couch. "I'm sorry for leaving home," she said suddenly. "For leaving you in that mess. I should have taken you with me." "You had to take care of yourself," he said. "And I left as soon as I could too. That's why I joined the military. We both survived. That's what matters." She wiped her eyes. "I'm glad you're back." "Me too." He stayed with her for a few days while he looked for a place to rent. She insisted, practically shoved a spare key into his hand. "You're not sleeping in some motel," she said. "I finally get my brother back. I'm not letting you disappear again." During those days, she introduced him to her friends. One of them, Riley, was a graphic designer with a laugh that made Kevin's chest feel warm. She was older than him, closer to April's age, but he didn't care. She had kind eyes, a quick wit, and a way of listening that made him feel like he wasn't just talking, he was being heard. They hit it off immediately. April noticed. She whispered loudly one night as they all sat around her living room. "You two like each other." Kevin glared. "I don't know what you're talking about." "You're blushing." "You're dating an older woman," she teased. Riley laughed so hard, she nearly spilled her wine. April stopped. But she didn't stop. Not for days. Still, Kevin didn't mind. Because Riley liked him too. They started going on walks, grabbing coffee, talking late into the night. She asked about his past without prying, and he told her things he hadn't told anyone. She told him about her own heartbreaks, her hopes, her stubborn belief that people could heal. He kissed her for the first time on April's balcony, under string lights that flickered like fireflies. She kissed him back like She'd been waiting for him. He didn't know love could feel like that, steady, warm, grounding. Like coming home. But trouble wasn't done with them. Rick showed up again, calling, lurking near April's building, leaving angry messages. She tried to brush it off, but Kevin saw the fear in her eyes. He didn't confront Rick this time. He'd learned something in the service. Sometimes the smartest move wasn't the loudest one. He did some digging. Nothing illegal, just enough to learn Rick had outstanding warrants. Multiple. And a history of harassment. So Kevin called the police, reported the stalking, and gave them the information. They arrested Rick the same day. When April heard, she burst into tears. Not of fear this time, but relief. "Thank you," she whispered, hugging him so tightly he could barely breathe. "I don't know what I'd do without you." "You'll never have to find out," he said. And he meant it. A week later, Kevin found a small apartment to rent. Nothing fancy, but it had sunlight in the mornings and a view of the street where kids rode bikes. It felt like a beginning. April helped him move in, bossing him around like she'd been waiting her whole life for the chance. "Put the couch there." "No, not there." "Honestly, how did you survive deployments if you can't even place furniture?" He threw a pillow at her. Riley came too, bringing plants he didn't know how to take care of, but promised he'd try. She kissed him before she left, soft and lingering, and whispered, "I'm glad you're here." He was glad too. For the first time in years, he felt like he wasn't running from something. He was building something, family, love, a life that felt like his. And every night, when he sat on a small balcony and watched the town lights flicker, he thought about how strange and beautiful it was that coming home, something he dreaded, had given him everything he didn't know he needed. A sister who finally felt like a sister. A woman who felt like a future. And a place where he could breathe. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.